Hey, it's Kunal, commercial product photographer, and today I'll take you behind the scenes of one of the most interesting and probably one of the most challenging campaigns that I've shot to date. This shoot was for a collagen brand where we had to shoot a bottle of collagen underwater, as you can see here. And not only that, but along with a very special kind of an exotic fish that we had to source all the way from Iceland here to Barcelona for the shoot, and we had to have a customized glass tank, a vertical one that you can see here, for this particular campaign, so that we can shoot all the photos, videos, animations, and the deliverables in the aspect ratio required right in camera, for the digital campaign, for the ATL campaign, and things like that. So very interesting and a very challenging shoot, especially when you're shooting a product underwater along with a fish and trying to get the desired result, right? So I'll walk you through the entire workflow, right from production to art direction, photo shoot, the lighting setup I used, camera gear, and all the challenges that came along the way and how we solved them. So let's get started, right? All right, so going back to the hero shot. Now, let's start with the brief because that's the first step for any ad campaign. When I received the brief from this client and we sat down and we discussed everything in detail, and the first thing that was very clear was that they wanted to, the photos, the videos, animations to look very realistic, very authentic and organic, right? So immediately our first thought after going through the brief was that let's just go to Iceland and do this shoot in the outdoors, where we can have everything look very real and organic, because we can shoot everything in sunlight in the actual environment, so it'll look very realistic, right? But after doing some research, we realized that that could be even more challenging, because once you're at the mercy of nature, the sunlight can change very quickly, and the weather in Iceland changes very drastically. So at one moment it's sunny, the other moment it can be raining, and things like that. So nothing would be in our control. And so after that we decided, okay, that next best option is to shoot everything in a studio, where everything would be in our control. The lighting will be in our control, the environment where the product is to be shot along with the fish would be in our control to a certain degree, right? So that is how we finalized to do this shoot in a studio in a very controlled environment. Now, once everything was decided and planned, the very first challenge was to source this very special sort of an exotic fish, which is called blue zebra cichlid. And by the way, this product is basically collagen, which is created from this species of fish, and they claim it to be the purest collagen in the world, as this is made from the marine wild fish in Iceland. So now the trick was to get this fish to Barcelona, and this is not easily available anywhere. So we had to place an order and wait for almost 3.5 weeks for the fish to arrive here. And another thing was that in the brief it was mentioned that the fish has to be around 5 centimeters long, so that it will look very it will go well with the dimension of the product. But the thing is that when the fish is around 5 centimeters or when it's small, the color of the fish is gray, and they wanted blue colored fish, as the name goes, blue zebra cichlids. So we found out that if the size is around 5 centimeters, then the color is gray and not blue. So because as they grow and they become larger in size, they'll slowly acquire blue color, right? So then we had to take a call that whether we want blue fish of bigger size or gray fish of smaller size. And after doing some experiments, and I did a bit of test shoots in my studio, and we realized that gray color looks really good with the bottle, and it will also stand out against the blue sort of underwater environment that you see here, the blue color in the background. So it will also stand out against that color. So we decided to go with the smaller gray fish. And so the order was placed, and we were waiting for the fish to arrive here. And in the meantime, I also started studying about this particular species, and I got in touch with a specialist here in Barcelona, and we realized that how we can take care of them during the shoot, and what all is to be done so that we can get the desired results that we want, right? Because again, it was very clear that we didn't want to do any composites. We wanted to have everything look very realistic, very organic, and we wanted to shoot everything in camera in real time in a single shot, right? Because for shoots like this, I mean, when I shoot any campaign or any product that I shoot, usually or most of the times I'm doing compositing, which is I will take multiple photos and then combine them together to create the final shot. But in this particular case, we wanted to shoot everything in one single shot right in camera, right? So that was the first challenge, to source the fish. The second challenge was, or probably, I mean, even more to that, adding more to the first challenge. So for the fish, I mean, there was also this thing that they tend to fight a lot among themselves. So we had to have a certain number of fish. You know, if there is only 4 to 5 of them, they will keep fighting. So we decided to have around 20-25 of them in the tank at a given time. Uh, because otherwise, they will just fight and hide in the corners or go under the rock, and it'll be like that. But we wanted them to move nicely around the product. So when I discussed this entire project with the specialist here in Barcelona, then he also guided me a lot that we can do all of these things for the fish to stay comfortable. And one of the main thing was that we had to maintain the same conditions in the glass tank, matching it with the conditions in the wild marine waters in Iceland. So we had to have the same temperature, we had to have the same kind of a condition in the glass tank. And so a lot of challenges just to put the set together. And I mean, in the set build stage, there were a lot of challenges already. So once the fish was here, the second challenge was, because we wanted to create everything in camera in real time, and we wanted to shoot visuals, photos, videos, animation, stop motions and whatnot in different formats. For the digital campaign we wanted vertical content, for the ATL campaign we wanted horizontal content. So we had to come up with the dimension of the glass tank where we can shoot everything in camera on the same day. So that is how we came up with this dimension of this glass tank, which is very unique. You will never find this readily available in any glass or aquarium shops. So this was, the dimension was sorted, and we placed an order for this particular tank, which is also a very, very special one, by the way, because usually when you look at these glass tanks in these shops, the edges will have a green tint, right? But we didn't want that in this shoot because we were capturing everything in camera in a go in real time. So we didn't want any sort of a tint. We wanted the colors to look very, very, very real right in camera. So that's why we use a very special kind of a glass here, which is called optically white glass, and we created the this glass tank from that to avoid any sort of a color tint during the shoot. And talking about colors, I mean, I'm very, very happy about the colors that we got in the shoot. If you look here in the final shot, and this was the hero shot for the campaign, the color that you see here in the background is exactly what the client wanted, to imitate the underwater, deep underwater look when the sun is shining through. And I captured this color right in camera. And in fact, let me just show you the gear that I used. So just give me a second. The camera is right here, so I can show it to you guys. So I used this lens, which is a beautiful lens. It is Zeiss Milvis f1.4 lens. It gives beautiful colors right in camera. Okay, so what you are seeing on the screen is what we shot in camera. There is no post-production, no color grading, nothing of that sort done. So this is what we captured during the shoot. The client approved it, and we just kept it the same way, right? And the camera that I used is Nikon Z9, again a beautiful piece of kit. This also allowed us to create photos and videos like this, and I'll just touch upon that in a moment. But Z9 also helped us achieve the results that we wanted. Or let's talk about it right now. So the reason was, so when I'm shooting these liquid shoots or underwater shoots, usually I will use, not usually, all the time I would be using flashlights, fast flashlights, because it will give me a faster flash frequency to freeze liquids. But in this case, we wanted the photos, videos, and all the stop motion animation to look very realistic and very authentic. And for that particular reason, I decided to go ahead with continuous lights, because that is how we see things in real life, in natural sunlight, which is a continuous light source. So when using continuous lights, uh, we wanted to freeze liquids with continuous lights, right? So for that, I mean, it became possible only because I was using Z9, which has shutter speeds that can go all the way up to 1 by 34 thousandth of a second, or something around that. So it's incredible, right? Because most of the cameras, the DSLRs can, the shutter speed maxes out at 1 by 8,000 or 4,000 or something like that. So this can go all the way up to 1 by 34 thousandth of a second. Although we didn't have, we didn't utilize this maxed out speed. I was shooting around, I think 1 by 10,000 to 11,000 of a second to freeze liquid, and I got really beautiful results out of straight from the camera. And the lights that I was using also helped, in compensating for that fast shutter speed, right? So if you just look here, I was using the, you can see right here, it is the big one is Nanlite Forza 500B2, which is a powerful enough light to shoot at that kind of a shutter speed. And it was, I mean, it gave beautiful results. As you can see, I mean, the bubbles are frozen, the colors are beautiful, and the continuous lights and this kind of a gear allowed me to capture everything in camera, and get the desired results that we wanted. Now, anyways, so once, I mean, getting back to the production stage, so once the glass tank was built, the next challenge was that, once you fill it up, it weighed around 120 kgs, right? That's a lot of weight. So in this case, we wanted the surface to be perfectly leveled so that once the glass tank is filled up, to avoid any sort of cracks in the during the shoot, because this is the, I mean, this was the only tank that we had. Okay, we had just one piece for the shoot, and we didn't want to damage it or flood our studio with water, right? So we had to be very, very careful about that. And before I filled up the tank, obviously, I mean, I level it up nicely, and here you see me placing these rocks for the hero shot composition, right? And again, if you, I mean, I'll just show you right here. So look at how I'm placing the bottle on the rocks. Simply, I'm just simply putting up balancing the bottle on the rocks in a very natural way. And again, because we wanted to keep everything very realistic, so when we were shooting videos, and let's say if I'm creating some waves in the water, or if the fish is moving around the bottle, and if that causes some movement and the bottle moves, we wanted it to move very naturally, right? So it was not stuck to the rocks, it was not held with a clamp or something. The bottle was simply kept there so that we can capture all the realistic movements right in camera. Okay, so everything was very, very well thought of prior to the shoot, so that we can get everything that we wanted on the day of the shoot. And again, I mean, usually we create around 1 to 2 photos in a day, but for this particular campaign, for the first half, the entire first half, we just created this one shot, and in the second half we just rushed like it was a madhouse, because we were creating a lot of videos and stop motions, animations, photos, and just playing around with the stuff, because once we had the hero shot, we know that we have our day is saved. This is what we wanted, and then we had to create just bulk content for the social media things and stuff like that, right? So again, let's look at the BTS here. So another thing, right? So here you see me maintaining the temperature inside the glass tank, because of course we wanted the fish to be happy, healthy, and alive during the shoot, so that we can kind of get what we wanted. And the thing with fish is that it is very unpredictable. You cannot just guide them to swim this way and go through the hole in the bottle and things like that. So we had to wait for the fish to get really comfortable and relaxed around the product. So we had to wait and be very, very patient, and we had to wait for them to move in a certain way when we can start shooting. And we also realized that once I mean, of course, if you create any movement in the tank, like I was trying to create some waves in the tank, and the moment we'll do that, they'll get very scared, and they'll just rush to the corners or under the rock, and they'll just hide there for a long time. So But we had no choice but to be very patient and wait for it to do their thing, and to get the desired results out of this particular setup. So, but surprisingly enough, once we started getting the first couple of shots, the fish got very comfortable with the product, and then even when we were creating waves and whatnot, they were very comfortable and happy, just moving around the product, very feeling very safe inside the waters. So this is how this particular photo was done. And once we created this in the first half, then again, as I said, we just rushed with the other deliverables. And let me just show you another one from the same setup. So there's this one right here, again from shot in the very same setup. I just held the bottle on the surface using a clamp, and as you can see, I mean, if you look carefully, all the bubbles under the bottle and everything is very well frozen, right? So it is, again, I'm using continuous source of light, and I'm using Z9 along with the Zeiss 50mm Milvis lens to get these beautiful colors right in camera, and to freeze liquids right in camera using continuous light. So this was also the first time that I used continuous lights this way, and I was very happy with the results. Now looking at the lighting setup here, which is by the way the same lighting for the hero shot as well, and here you see me using I mentioned it, right, the Nanlite Forza 500B2 light. It is a powerful enough light for to compensate the high shutter speeds that I was using. And this attachment that I'm using is also very interesting. So we wanted to replicate sunlight under water, and for that I came up with this idea of using the projector, because then you can really focus a beam of light at a very specific spot to create an illusion, or like to imitate sunlight underwater. And if you see here again, you will see this glow right around the bottle. That glow underwater around the bottle is created by that projector, and I'm very happy about the result. We all were actually very proud of this campaign and the results that came out of this particular set, right? So beautiful photos. And again, here you see me creating those waves, which you see in this particular shot. So I'm creating these waves and moving the waters. And by the way, during this entire time, the fish is still there in the glass tank. So we were getting what we we were just going with the flow. So whatever photos we were getting, we were just shooting it one after the other, right? And in this particular scene, again, you see the same thing from a different angle. And so basically, when I'm doing a shoot, I tend to use two monitors. One is the iMac, which is for the tethered setup, and this right here is another monitor which I use only for the live view of the camera, right? So whenever I'm doing any kind of a movement in the set, I can see that in real time on this monitor and take the shot at the right moment, right? Because I usually shoot alone without any assistant. So this is how I manage to get what I want during the shoot in a very efficient way. And another thing also that, by the way, if you look at my BTS on Instagram, you would barely notice any other people on the set, but that is not the case in reality, because once the client is here from the marketing team, or the people from the agency, the creative directors, art directors, and when all of them are here on this set, I barely get any time to record BTS, because then we just get started with the shoot. But I usually try and record some BTS either prior to the shoot or after the shoot ends. So that's the reason why you only see me on the set, but otherwise, there's a whole lot of people present on the shoot day, and it is a crazy madhouse, right? Commercial shoots are like that. So for the gear, like I've already mentioned, I used this Z9 and the Zeiss Milvis lens. Beautiful pair for product photography. And I also chose 50mm focal length for this, because we had to create content in both horizontal and vertical format, and 50mm really gave me that flexibility to create the content in whatever aspect ratios we wanted, right? And very happy with the results. The clients were very happy. The photos are out. So a fantastic experience. I would say an amazing experience, getting to shoot this kind of a campaign. So that is pretty much how I did this shoot. And if you want, you can have a look at the entire post on my Instagram. You can see the BTS there. And if you have any thoughts or questions, do drop them in the comments. And I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.